Now let's look at one of these budget control examples when implementing a large project. So, but the budget control is critical in large project where the financial complexities and risks are unknown. For instance, in a global, let's say, infrastructure development project, maintaining the control over, let's say, multiple expenses streams, and it requires a robust planning, continuous monitoring, and timely interventions to prevent the budget overruns. This session will focus on applying these practical strategies to one of these real world scenarios. In a case of, let's say, an urban transit system project, rising material costs and labor shortages posed significant financial challenges. So, the project here we are dealing with is a construction of an urban transit system. And the challenge here we are dealing with is managing the escalating material costs and increasing again, the increasing of these material costs and the labor shortages. And how to overcome this challenge by, let's say, the project team has addressed these renegotiating long-term supplier contracts to look the prices in a lower phase. Also reallocating the labors to high priority tasks. And these, let's say, actions or corrective actions can help you in cost saving and demonstrating the importance of adaptive budget control strategies. What are the cost saving strategies in the large project that you can implement? Large projects offer opportunities for a significant cost saving through a good negotiation and strategic initiatives. By prioritizing the high impact cost reduction initiatives and using the economic of scale and procurement, also implementing a technology for real time expense tracking, these, let's say, strategies can help you on cost saving when handling a large projects. How to overcome these, let's say, budget control challenges that we already have covered on the previous session. So the budget control challenges, such as the unexpected scope changes, we say that when the stakeholders request for additional requirements or additional, let's say, needs in the project, which can derail the large projects. So how to overcome these challenges? By addressing the scope changes promptly to manage the costs and making sure that the stakeholders are aware of the impact of these changes, and the scope changes could impact the budget control and the budget baseline. So ensure that the let's say these deviations can be addressed promptly with the stakeholders. You may also align the financial planning with the project timelines and mitigate these risks of the cost overruns through having a well defined contingency reserves. So, if you as a project manager feel that you might suffer from the scope changes or scope, let's say, creep in terms of adding extra, let's say, requirements or features or needs or infrastructure to your project, you need to counter for these risks and set, let's say, contingency reserves to meet these cost overruns risks. Utilizing the lessons learned from the budget monitoring. So, budget monitoring provides a valuable lessons for the future project. You need always to have a regular financial reviews to improve the accuracy in the forecasts. For example, by reviewing the previous projects which had, let's say, a similar project scope. So you can look at these lessons learned that were learned in terms of the cost control and cost management that were, let's say, captured from the previous projects. Then you can apply it to your project to improve the accuracy, the forecasts. Also, involving the stakeholders to ensure the accountability and spending. As I mentioned in the previous slide, where you have to keep the stakeholders aligned, make them understand that whatever changes that happens in the scope in terms of adding or removing, all of these changes could, let's say, impact the project constraints. especially the schedule and the cost. Also, it adds risks. So ensure that the stakeholders are involved when there is, let's say, additional, uh, let's say, requirements or needs to ensure the accountability and the spendings. Utilizing the historical data also of the previous projects can provide an insight for the future budget planning in case if both of the projects has a similar, say, scope. These tools that can be used for an effective budget control. Tools like the Microsoft project and Primavera plays a pivotal role in budget control for the large projects. So using these software or the project management software, it helps you to ensure that you have an effective real-time budget tracking. Also by implementing dashboards in terms of its cost to have a real-time financial visibility. Also remember when we talked about employing these earned value management formulas to have a precise cost analysis. As I mentioned many times, the importance of keeping the stakeholders, let's say, communicated and involved when case if there is, let's say, budget overruns and in terms of the budget control. So stakeholder involvement is essential for effective budget control. So you need to keep having regular updates to keep the stakeholder informed of the budget status in case if it's increased, in case if it's less than what is intended to spend. Also, you might utilize this collaborative decision making to enhance the cost efficiency. So the stakeholders feel that they are accountable for whatever needs or actions that's been taken on the project. Ensure having a clear communication to ensure the alignment of the financial priorities. So, yeah, let's say this case study or the outcome of these, let's say, takeaways of this case study that we have highlighted. So the case study has highlighted to illustrate how proactive cost management ensures the financial stability in large projects. And despite of these challenges such as escalating material costs and labor shortages, the team adaptability and strategic action has enabled them to achieve the project objectives within the budget. This underscores the importance of monitoring or regular monitoring and collaboration with the stakeholders and data driven decision making. And to summarize our session on how to handle the or let's say to have a control over the budget in large projects, we say that the budget control in large projects requires a combination of strategic planning, real time monitoring, and effective collaboration with the stakeholders. This case study has demonstrated the value of proactive measures such as the supplier negotiation and setting contingency reserves for the unknown risks that is related to the financial status, financial needs of the project. These practices not only ensure the financial alignment, but also provided a roadmap and a good lessons learned for the future cost management excellence.